Welcome
to
Masters of Music Podcast. I'm Voldemort.
I'm Derek.
And this is episode 23.
Episode 23. Happy New Year, everyone. We have survived 2020. It is now 2021. I'm curious to hear what your New Year's resolutions were. Mine was to paradoxically not have a New Year's resolution, thus carrying out said resolution and failing at it, simultaneously creating a wormhole, a detrimental wormhole in our very existence. Nah, I'm just kidding. I just need to pay some parking tickets, lose 5 pounds and stuff.
Yeah, guys, and please subscribe.
So this week, we're going to continue our last week's best of, because we just couldn't fit all the greatness from the 20-some-odd episodes from 2020. So here we go. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1! The final 5. That's what
The
we're
final
doing.
5, so we can add it
go
to
for
the
it.
end. Okay, so
Hey.
the first one.
Oh, wait. Before that, can I
Okay.
ask one question?
Yeah.
Let me ask if I can ask this question, actually.
So can he ask that question?
Go on.
I'm going to ask if he can ask that question.
I'll ask if I can ask it, and he'll ask you if I can ask it.
Can he ask that question? I don't know.
So, I'm like genuinely super curious about when you made the switch to fretless, and we've already probably talked about this backstage. Do you get that question a lot? I'm like, what the hell made you go to fretless? And because that's such an insane instrument, and like so much technique and so much precision. Talk about precision goes into that. What made you go into that? Like from regular, what did you start out with? Did you start off with? This is like a 10-part question.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good. I'm asked that occasionally, but not too often. So that's good.
Yes.
That's good.
Okay.
And I have to point out the irony of you said there's so much precision involved, and I do play only precision basses, which it was named so because back in the early 50s when it came out, they were trying to get or corner the market of the upright bass players, right, who were transitioning to the new electric guitars and the new sounds that were coming out.
Right.
And so they called it precision bass because you can play precisely. You don't have the upright, which doesn't have the frets, so
Right.
you can play the notes precisely with the frets.
Right.
There's a sweet irony to that, the fact that it's a Fender fretless precision bass.
Yeah.
So I wanted to point that out. But I started off on the fretted, and I was, the bass for me was just an instant thing when it came along. I knew that was the instrument. I was playing gigs on it 3 days later. It was
wow.
so fast. I know I was 11 years old. I mean, my parents had a band, and I played gigs with them regularly. I played drums, I played keyboards, I played all sorts of instruments. But when the bass came along, that was it. It was like I knew, and it was instant. Yeah. So I played it for about 6 or so years, and then I became aware of Jaco Pastorius.
Oh yeah.
I heard him, and it's like there was something about the sound and just the inflections, the little expressions that did it for me. And it's like, wow, I have to have a fretless bass. It was as simple as that. And so got hold of one. I wanted a precision bass because that's what I loved. I didn't like the jazz bass. I still don't own one. It's just not my thing.
Right.
And, I added the extra pickup because I wasn't getting the sound that Jaco was getting, which, years later turned into my signature bass. It's funny how that happened. It was 1983 when I added that extra pickup.
Oh, that's the one Fender released, correct?
Yeah.
The Tony Franklin Fender bass.
Yeah.
Legendary.
Yeah, fretless bass. They released it in 2006, and it's still in production, which is amazing. It's incredible. So, but then it's like I'm mostly a rock player, even though I play different styles. So I just started incorporating it into into rock music and found that it translated very well. It wasn't instant going on to the fretless. It took a few years before I was really nailing it.
Wow.
So I mean, it's but you know, in hindsight, I figured there were things that I did that slowed me up, like not playing to a tuning reference. Right? If you're just playing by yourself on the fretless bass, you think you're doing all right, you know, because you got nothing to check the tuning against.
Yeah.
And so it's I'm doing great, and they take it out with the band, and you're getting all the filthy looks and everything.
Yeah.
but which happened, absolutely happened. So it's but I just loved the. It's not about all the big slides and the novelty of it. It's more about the subtle expressions and the those little bends and everything that make it very, very human, very very expressive. It's just, I love it. Love the fretless bass.
Wow.
Yeah, it flows. It feels like it flows a lot more.
Yeah.
There's a lot more fluidity to a fretless bass than something like. I mean,
yeah, absolutely. It is. It's very fluid. It's very slinky, and you can do so much so expressively with just been very simple. And so it's a beautiful instrument.
Wow. Yeah, man. That's crazy. 'Cause like, just and you're right. Also, just like the hints of the little thing, even when you're just playing the root note, like the little vibrato you had, the vibrato's different and stuff, and it's like it's just cool. It's just fucking.
Oh, thanks. No, I do. I love it. And when you do that stuff, it's not really so preconceived. It's like when you're singing, it's very in the moment, very, very spontaneous. You don't think about it, you just do it. And so it's, that the fretless just gives me the freedom to do that, which I just love it.
That's awesome. Okay. Well, hell yeah. Thank you for that. I've been wondering, I must have played like 20 shows with you or something, and I still don't know, like, I want to know where that came from, so that's cool.
Chiquito I got, and then I picked up this one CD, and at the time I read the CD, Badi Assad, Badiassad, and it was this beautiful Brazilian female guitar player who all I knew about her up to that point of picking that up was that she had an ad for Takamine guitars that I kept seeing where she was in a hang glider holding her guitar. It was kind of a goofy ad, really. She's on a hang glider holding a Takamine nylon string guitar, and it had the ad for her album Rhythms, and her album Rhythms had just been voted Guitar Player Magazine Readers Poll Best Classical Album of the Year that year. And I remember that it even read not classical music, but played on a classical guitar close enough. And the readers voted this album, and that was cool. And out of I picked up that album, I turned it over and looked at the back, and I literally, the only thing that hit like a ticker tape across I could be with this girl. I wasn't like a physical thing or a romantic.
Right.
I don't know why that sentence went through my head.
Mm-hmm.
I bought all the albums and I went home. I was just listening. And of all the albums, that Badi Assad album, at the time I was calling her Badi Assad, that was my favorite. Why? Because she was already doing all those things I just told you. She was beating on the guitar. She was beating on her face and throat like a drum. She didn't know who Van Halen or Paul Gilbert was, but she had figured out in Brazil how to take a little one of those fans you buy at like Spencer Gifts or somewhere, a cheap little fan that you take to a basketball game or something. She put nylon strings on it and held it up to her guitar to make this tremolo.
Wow.
She would play guitar with her left hand hammering and shaker and sing at the same time.
That's fucking
This
nuts.
girl is a force of nature like most Americans don't know. I'm getting chills talking about because I remember what I felt discovering this artist, because I just picked up the album just like you take a chance on any album.
Of course.
And
Jeff, what
doing
album
all
was
this
that?
incredible stuff. Pardon?
What album was this again? Exactly.
The album is called, well, she has two.
Uh-huh.
The one before is even better, and I can send them to you when we hang up. Her first album, they were on a label audiophile label out of New York called Chesky. Chesky Records, they were known for doing all their albums with only one microphone for every instrument, and the band would be around the instrument, however many musicians. Wow. And she did her albums with this label. The first one, Solo, that's the one where she's the song Bella e Fera, where she's doing the shaker and hammering and singing.
Wow.
She plays her. She was into Bobby McFerrin before anybody. So she was. It's on Equilibrium, dude, in Celise. Her doing the mouth percussion. Go back and listen to Equilibrium because she wrote that tune. That's my arrangement of her song that she would do solo. I put a full band arrangement around that song, but she did that just with guitar. That middle part where in Celise where it stops and you start hearing this.
Wow.
And it's like in the woods somewhere. You're in the forest in a clearing. And you hear all this stuff. And then she starts doing the whole drum set. Here's the hi-hat right here.
Wow.
And then she'd smack and do it. And she could, the one thing you hear at the beginning, she could change the shape of her esophagus. Jeez. You know the African talking drum where they hold it under their, they beat it and they squeeze it to change the.
Is that the
she
djembe?
Could do that with her throat.
Yeah. That's
on Equilibrium on Celise, the throat, the nose, that whole thing. And then she sets up the beat that the drummer, Matt Chamberlain, from Soundgarden, and Tori Amos, who plays on all my. He was the drummer when Chris passed with Soundgarden. He starts coming in, but it's Baji that sets that beat. So I knew all this about her just from, I started researching her immediately once I bought that album. At Bowders, dude, my life changed. Walking into a Bowders. Now get this. This is where the story, it's magic, man. It's destiny happens in music. Just like it did with how I got the Megadeth gig, which we didn't talk about, but it's just mind-blowing. And just think of the fact it's like something can be right in front of your face for 6 months and you don't notice it because we're so busy, we're not paying attention, we're focused on the wrong stuff.
Right.
One day I was sitting there in my little practice closet looking at that picture, and I finally noticed something that had eluded me all those months. It was about imagine in a Polaroid, if you took a picture of someone in their workshop with a Polaroid and they had a bunch of pictures hanging on their wall, they would be smaller than your pinky nail, right? Yeah. Right. I'm sitting there playing, and this whole year he'd been talking about two brothers that play his guitar, Sergio and Odayo Asagi. Sergio, I was never prompted to go buy their music or check them out. I kind of got irritated. He kept talking about them.
Yeah.
That one day, but I finally one day was playing and I looked and I saw a small picture on the wall in the back above his workbench of two guys with beards. And right next to that picture was a picture of Baji. Oh. That girl, Baji, I was calling her at the time.
Right.
And I flipped out. I was like, he's got a picture of that girl. This album that I'm tripping over, that I'm loving this album. I run to the phone. Thomas. I was just looking at that picture. The D'Addario ad that was in the acoustic, I have it tacked up, and I just noticed something. You keep talking about these two brothers, Sergio Day. There's this guitar player. There's a picture of her right next to that. I love Badi Assad. I love this album. He just started laughing. He's like, ah. He's like, that's Baji. Her name's Baji. That's their little sister. He's like, wow. You don't care about her. You want to meet Sergio. Sergio's the greatest living guitar composer, Jeff. And right there that day, he goes, you know what? Sergio and Baji are in New York. He's producing her new album for Chesky. Your guitar's not done, but fly here. You could play another one that's done. We can meet, hang out. I can introduce you to Baji. May you interview them for your guitar magazine.
Wow.
And I did the article for. So, dude, I was on a plane to New York faster than he was, almost not done finishing his sentence.
Wow.
Because I was crazy about this, and I was diving in.
Did you take any lessons or of any kind?
I have this the 6-hour warm up. The warm up music lesson thing that everyone uses. You can go to any backstage in any freaking local show and you see the singer doing these same gia 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 gia.
Yeah,
it's all the same warm ups from this one 6-hour music voice lessons CD that came out back. I don't know. I've had it for years. I've given it to lots of people. Like,
damn, I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, that was Derek. Derek was. For sure, he told me before. He wants to know what your warm up routine is.
Yeah,
how
the fuck do you?
And we don't know what that.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
we need you to pass along that 6 hours.
You ever do like a full on show and then not warm up, and then suffer the consequences in some way?
Oh yeah, that's every
too
day.
many times. Yeah.
I passed out once.
Oh fuck.
Oh wow.
I passed out on stage once. It was scary.
Oh my god. Holy shit! For how long?
I was singing. So this was like I had I had a Friday, a 4-set cover band thing, and then a Saturday 4-set cover band thing, and I was singing most of both. Right, there was the other guys sang too, but most of 60-70% of the songs I was singing. Right. So on night 2, this was me, Wes Styles, and Brian Myers. Right. It's September's in Rialto, in a restaurant, playing cover. So we were at the last song at the end of the 4th set. I'm exhausted. I'm ready to go home. We're actually done. Our time is up. But they're like, let's pull out one more. Murv, I see that I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston is on your list of songs that you know how to sing, Murv. And went, yeah.
Oh.
And so,
fuck.
So immediately our shtick is always that we make fun of stuff and joke around about stuff, right? So immediately I'm going, yeah, but that song's really hard to sing, bro. We shouldn't do that. And I'm kind of serious at this point. But so we get through, make a big deal out of how hard this song is to sing. And we get to the end of the song, and you know how it modulates up to B, and it goes, and
yeah.
Before we get to that moment of the song, I go, so hold on, guys, stop. And I stop the band, and I go, whoo! And that's the last thing you do is take one of those breaths before you're trying to hit a big note, because that'll make you lightheaded.
Yeah.
I did that. I start talking to you. I'm like, oh, I'm about to hit this note, guys. You know what's coming next. You know this song. I'm going to hit the high note, and it's going to, whoo! And I'm tired, guys. This is the end of the night here. So I need all your energy to help me, right?
Yeah.
And I went, all right, here we go. So I did it. I went, and like, I saw white light.
Oh no!
Now, we were supposed to play the national anthem after this song as our closer. So I saw white light, and I looked down in my hands, and I wasn't playing bass anymore. And I looked over the guitar player, Wes, and he's laughing and playing the national anthem. So I missed some time, is what happened. I blacked out. And he's laughing. I'm like, what are you laughing at? And after we're wrapping up, or at the end of the show, we're wrapping up the cables. Now, granted, I just made a big deal about how hard this part was to sing, right?
Yeah.
Wes kind of, oh, that was great what you did there. And I'm like, what? Well, I don't know what happened. And he's like, well, you did the thing where you pretended like you passed out. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, you went into the microphone. And I was on my feet, mind you, right? So everyone in the audience is laughing. He's laughing. It went over great. But I literally had like a scary fucking moment where I was out. And he's like, I'm like, I think I blacked out. I think I passed out. He's like, what? That's what that was? That was real? And I'm like, uh-huh.
Oh my God.
How many brain cells did I kill in that process?
Yeah.
Probably half of them, right?
Yeah, probably as much as Whitney did, like, when she's not performing.
Yeah, bro.
God damn, dude. Oh my God.
But you ever done that? You hit a really high note and you get lightheaded and you get dizzy and you're like, how am I going to recover from this? And you do. Has that ever happened to you?
I do. It has, but I've never gotten that far. I'm like, I've definitely like had to sit on an amp or something and be like, okay, hold on, and then I just like kind of shake it off or whatever. But that's fucking nuts, dude. I was just gonna ask, like, what did the audience, like, the audience must have thought it was like amazing. I was like,
they thought it was a joke.
Yeah,
they thought it was a joke. Everyone worked great. The shtick worked.
That works. You got to do it now. It's like part of the, when we go gigging again.
We're doing a video podcast, and I do music videos and lyric videos and shit, whatever.
Yeah, Waldemar is producing my next lyric video, which is really cool.
Behind the scenes stuff. Yeah, it's fun. I just like being creative. I think you just got to keep doing it. And I don't like creativity means you can be creative any way. It doesn't have to mean you have to stick to music or whatever. You kind of just live your life and breathe creativity. So then I just like the next thing is just do it visual, write stories visually instead of just melodically.
I think really creative people don't even really have much of a choice. You know,
Yeah.
it's going to come out one way or the other, if not right now, down the road a little bit. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
it feels like that. I keep talking about this, but David Lynch has this idea where it's called the art life, and the art life is the artist living life, and basically means you're always working. You can never get a break because every time you turn around, you're inspired by something, which makes you want to work. So your life is just going to be always work, but I think it's the only way we can live. It's just like, yeah. Like I was telling Derek before, like right now, we can't physically earn money, but we have no time to stop working. Like we're just working and we're always producing. Derek's always writing. I'm always editing something, writing something, doing something. And then just like, I feel like I can't even get sleep. Like just during this time when I can't do anything, I got nothing. Like I got no time.
That's man. It's like a self-imposed kind of pressure you keep on yourself to keep delivering, and I think that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I still do this thing. I still practice drums all the time, man. And I make sure that I watch something that's really inspiring, but that also just makes me feel like I don't know how to play. Like I'm watching these guys today and I go down the YouTube rabbit hole where I'm just watching drum video after drum, and there's so much to learn, man. There's so much to learn, So I practice as much as I did when I was, well, maybe not as much when I was a kid, but a lot, You'd think I'd start getting good at this point after all this practice.
Yeah.
Hey, I was thinking about that the other day. So, like 10 years ago or 20 years ago, were there this many great musicians, or is that something new that there's this many great players, or is it just with the internet we have access to them and they have access to putting themselves out here? So between the two, you're just aware of them now. I just wonder if there's more players or it's just the access to them is greater, Anyway, I was thinking about that the other day. It's just, dude, you just go on YouTube and there's just all these players that are slamming. You've never even heard of them, And it just going and going and going and going. It's just endless.
Yeah, I think it's like the access thing. Like there's, like, I don't think it's gonna be in the future. Record labels are gonna start disappearing. It's almost like because people can just put out their own thing, and then a record label is gonna come in and try to steal your creativity and then like profit off it. But a lot of times right now there's even artists on YouTube that have made $1 million without even signing to anybody. And so it's like, it's almost like,
that's great.
Yeah, the medium is changing. They're saying that Drake is thinking about going independent and not signing because his contract is over. So they're like, yeah, if he goes independent, record labels are over, because then everyone can go independent and they can just produce their own stuff, sell it on fucking iTunes. And who the fuck does Kanye West need, or
that's true.
Aerosmith? Like, they don't need a record label anymore. They're Aerosmith at that time. Like, they can make their own money.
Yeah.
Put out a commercial by themselves or whatever.
So like for a guitar player though, like the music side of it, are there guys doing stuff on guitar now that 10 years ago wasn't even possible? Like this guy pushed it, and then this guy took the ball and ran a little further, and this guy, and after a few years, guys are doing stuff that wasn't even physically possible. Is that the same for guitar? Because on drums it sure is. There was nobody like they're playing now 10 years ago.
There is guys going crazy, but at the same time, those dudes that get so crazy get less musical, so I don't even want to listen to it anymore. It just becomes like...
Yeah, there's that whole side of it, but I'm just thinking just purely on the instrument, not about whether they play too much and they work and all that crap. Yeah. But just physically, you watch these drummers, like their feet are like machines, like pistons on high gear, dude. And there was never, I don't remember that at all until like the last 15 years or so, man. And just to create, I don't know. Guys weren't playing like the instrument has evolved so much so quickly that maybe I'm just old. I don't know.
No,
But,
no, you make a great point. That like there's this like little kid. I met him at NAMM. Insane little. I wish I remembered his name. It's a complicated name. He's this like little Asian kid that just shreds, but he's like 5. And he's just like super famous right now, but he plays everything so sick. And I think it's because he has access to those drummers, and he has this incredible access. And I got a friend in England, Adam Breeze. He just gets constantly better, he's just like constantly like making. It's like performing for the camera to release is like a new form of vlogging, and you're just getting better and better and better, and you're like vlogging your progress. And I think something about like just that access thing is, I mean, it happens all around, but yeah, that's the whole birth of the mini shredders are mind blowing. I don't know how to feel about it. Yeah,
exactly what I'm talking about, man. There's just these players. I just can't believe what they're playing.
Yeah, but
they're everywhere. They're like Starbucks. They're just everywhere, man. Everywhere there they are.
They also have access to like the legends. Like back in the day, even when we started out, it was like CDs and DVDs, and you had to get those CDs and DVDs. Now you can just go turn around or look at your phone, and you can see everything, and then slow it down. You can get a live video of Van Halen, 87, at some little bar, maybe when he was drunk or some bullshit, like some imaginary thing, and slow it down the video to learn everything he did.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so I think it's easier to learn now. Like, you don't need school anymore.
For sure, it's easier to learn. I mean, this put the music teacher out of business, basically.
Yeah.
Although I still think having a one-on-one teacher is the way to go, at least when you're starting out. But yeah, there's always some guy on YouTube teaching for free. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, you could do 8 hours a day for the rest of your life, and you wouldn't even scratch the surface of all the instructional videos out there.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Okay, number two. What is the most memorable or crazy story from the road?
Or studio? Or anywhere.
Studio, wherever.
Anywhere.
I mean,
most memorable crazy story from the road. I don't know, anywhere.
Oh my God. Guys, that's a big one.
Yeah. Or one of them. There's probably a bunch.
One that was really cool was I did a gig we're doing a big gig in Toronto, up in Canada, and one of my biggest heroes ever was going to come and sit in and hang out, and it was Steve Lukather.
Oh.
So he showed up backstage, and I was just like,
Yeah.
And he was so nice to me. He was so cool, and so he came and sat in with us on stage, and he was so great. And we're backstage, like, man, thanks so much. That was so fun. And I helped him get a great tone on the guest amp, because he was like, I hate using guest amps because they always fuck me over. They give me some lame clean tone I can't play, and so they brought out an amp for him, and he plugged in, and he played, and it was a horrible clean tone. He goes, oh! And I go, hold on. And I go run over to his amp, and I'm like, and I found the right buttons, and I got him a really great tone. And he was like, yes.
Oh, wow.
He was really cool. So he was like, oh, thanks so much for giving me the love on the amp. And we were hanging out, and he goes, you know what? I'm going to see my buddy Jeff Healey, R.I.P.
Oh.
And he goes, he's got a club here, and I always go to his club and jam, and he's going to be there. So he took me to meet Jeff Healey, and he brought me up on stage with Jeff Healey, and we all jammed, and it was just an awesome night. And so that's just one really great experience I had. So I got to meet my big hero, and I got to jam with Jeff Healey, who was another hero, and it was a great day. So,
oh my God, that all happened within 24 hours?
yeah.
Oh my God, that's mind blowing. That's not a great day. That's amazing. That's insane. Holy shite.
Yeah, man. And
Jeff Healey.
was that bar kind of like the Roadhouse bar?
Yeah, was there a big
Was it
like
a
cage?
fence or thing? Like the fans were just like attacking.
Fans
you
are
guys.
throwing bottles. Like, I don't know.
No, no such luck. But it was packed. It was a really cool club, and of course Healy was on fire, man. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, yeah.
That was cool.
He's a badass.
Yeah.
Fucking blues masters.
Yeah.
And the funny
Oh,
thing
yeah.
about Steve Lukather is his tone is so fucking great. Always.
Yeah.
That must have been the thing. Like, when he goes to a place that doesn't have great tone, he must be like, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
kind of freaked him out or something.
Yeah.
Damn, and you saved him.
Well, that happens. That's happened. That happens all the time. You know, I've done that where I've gone to sit in and they bring out an amp and it's like a twin, you know, and you're playing with a guy who's got two Marshalls and a massive rack system and the stereo fucking delay, and it's like, and you plug into your twin and you're like, oh my god. And then your guitar, the action is like that high off the neck. It's like, so I know the feeling. So he killed it though. He was awesome. So.
Damn.
That's awesome.
Fuck.
How about this? Hear this, and then in parentheses, if you can.
Oh, yeah.
Not a bad title.
That's experimental right there.
Now, listen, I may actually, you never know what's going to happen. We were talking a little earlier about like sort of this idea of, if you're an artist, you have certain things that are beyond your control.
Yeah.
They are. If you're truly an artist, the world fucking tells you where you're going, not the other way around. Yeah. If you're not an artist, you always can just say, nah, shit, jump and see you bye. Right?
Right.
Some of us don't have that opportunity. I mean, I don't need it anymore. I've been doing it so long. But I think what's pretty interesting is that as I start working less, because I can, thank God, and because I like to, one thing that's happening is I'm finding myself finding other creative outlets. But one of those is actually just doing what I used to do when I was young. Not kidding. It's like this must be such a typical thing, but sit with the guitar super late at night at the kitchen table and just noodle. And every now and again, the noodle, I just go, huh? Huh? And then I write down one line and I noodle, and I write down a second line and I noodle. And the next thing I know, it's the next morning and I go, hey, you got to hear this. I think this is pretty good. But you got to understand, you guys may still be in that world. I haven't been in that world for years, but I'm sort of getting back to it, so that Dave Darling solo record may very well be me just writing songs and having my friends come and do individual songs. Not unlike Derek's record with all the different producers. My solo record will be these artists. I picked the artists that I love the most.
That's
and
it,
And I write each one song. I do that in a heartbeat. I love that concept.
Yeah. Well, I'm always often the one that gets up first, and when you're on tour, you share rooms.
Yeah.
And there's me in the corner doing my annoying vocal warm-ups, and he's trying to sleep. But I don't know. Are you used to it now, or
I'm used to it. Yeah. It's just a blank now. Yeah. What's that noise?
That's funny. Oh, so do you do your vocal warm-ups before and after?
Not after, unless I've had a gig where I feel my voice is like in the wrong position, and then maybe try and gently bring it back. Make your chords straight again. If I remember my vocal tuition correctly.
Yeah. It's crazy. I was going to say, I get a bit late. Being the harmonist in the band, I guess I get a bit lazy with the warm-ups. But hearing Jace doing it kind of kicks me into thinking that I should actually be doing that as well. So I do now and again. I do the scales and stuff, because it does actually help, whether you think it does or not. But if I haven't warmed up and I'm at a gig and I haven't done that, then I kind of warm up as I'm singing. So I sing really soft and bring it in. But it's a good lesson. You got. It's just like it's a muscle, isn't it? So you've got to warm it up, and it's.
You've got one hell of a range, and you're going up and down, and you give it some grit as well. How do you sustain that?
It's a good question. At least on tour, I would. That's a great question.
He sold his soul to the devil, and he has 5 more years.
Yeah,
that's about it. It's not gonna
last too long. No, no, but I don't know. I think just well, there's always things to avoid. I suppose like chili and like on days of the show, not to eat spicy foods or anything that might dry your voice out. And but I don't know. Like the best, and also warming up before. I like to cool down after, just like a little. You know, there's like this one cool warm down after shows, like try to make yourself sound like a zombie, like, and that kind of, and you do that for like 2 minutes at a time, take a break, and then you do something else. But then that kind of like helps the grit last and kind of, I don't know. But I don't know. I also just before show, like if I have a show, I don't eat anything after like 1 p.m. And so I just don't. That's it.
He also doesn't talk to anyone.
I try not to, yeah. No talking and no like, or just, I don't do anything. It's very not productive. I try not to do anything like stressful or like any sort of clerical work or anything where I have to do like answer emails. I just go for a walk or walk my dog or, you know, just chill all day. And then I play and then it's just like, I think rasp and all of that. I don't know. It's just, you know, and it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, stress can play such a huge part, can it? In like, it's like tightening up when you want to be, you know. But yeah, having a good eating, you know, you need at least 2 hours, don't you? You know, before you eat, before a show.
Yeah, there's been plenty of occasions we turn up to the gig or you're on in an hour, and then they say, when do you want your food now? And you just can't do it. That stodginess in your tummy, I think it does affect your singing. And for me anyway, it's just something extra, I don't know, on stage that.
Well, one thing I actually wanted, this is kind of dumb, but we're both really big Tenacious D fans, and I wanted to ask you.
We're going into the world of the D right now. So date now, by the way.
Nope. The next 2 hours. Well, I was gonna ask, like, what turned you on to Tenacious D? For me, it was Waldemar. I think Waldemar showed me like Wonder Boy, and or like Kielbasa, and he like showed me a video from their HBO special, and he's like, listen to this.
Because we're Polish.
Yeah, we're like Polish. So, and Jack Black's like partially half or something Polish.
Yeah, I think it was from it wasn't from older siblings, but my best friend's older brothers. We used to go to this like scout hut place for holidays like every summer, and they always used to have CDs in the car and stuff. And the one album they used to always, or a couple of albums, was Under the Cork Tree by Fall Out Boy, Tenacious D, the first record, and Stadium Arcadium, and like they would just play that every because they didn't have any other fucking CDs in the car, so we would listen to like Tenacious D, and like I was like, what is this? Like what? Like I like first I didn't get it. I didn't really. I was only like 12, 13 or whatever. I was like, I don't get it. And then I started listening when I was older, and I just fell in love with it. And I can't remember what was. I can't remember what the first song was. I think it was Kielbasa. That was my first. That was my first Tenacious D song, and then I think it was Double Team after that. But I don't know, man. It's a hard thing for people to get, because even my girlfriend like loves Tenacious D, and she's the first girl that I've ever met that actually like you put on like City Hall or like I don't know, like Fuck Her Gently or like any of the new shit as well, and she's like, I actually like this as a song instead of like as a joke.
Yeah. Fuck Her Gently is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Tenacious D that people don't really get. It's like, yes, they're fucking funny, but they also write great melody and great songs. And I truly believe that is not just like, you know, there's just so much melody and they care as well. Like they're decent musicians that work on their craft. They don't, you know, Jack Black doesn't use auto-tune or anything. Like they know what they're doing. And obviously they're getting Dave Grohl for the drums that they use. And I don't know, it's just a perfect combination.
Oh, there's.
I think that's how I got into it. Was like through older, like through your brother. It was through older friends that were like, listen to this like ridiculous shit. Because if you brought that out now, everyone would just be like, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Like you can't.
Yeah.
You can't say like, I'm gonna fillet you and all this shit. Like, you just can't.
Fucking crap.
Damn,
Damn, I think this is the question we have to ask everyone.
Yeah, this is an important question.
We got to go back to Tony Franklin and be like, hey, man, so you play with Jimmy Page, but who cares about that? Let's talk about Tenacious D. Yeah. Whitesnake? Fuck it. Who cares?
Did you hear their Phoenix album, I think? What was it called?
Yeah, Rise. Yeah.
Did you hear that? Did you like that one? I kind of liked it. I liked that one.
I liked the song Senorita on that one. That's a cool song.
Yeah.
I'm just trying. I was just looking around my room to see if I have any like Tenacious D memorabilia like anywhere, but I feel like I have like. Oh, I don't know. I don't think I do. I don't think I have any in here.
There's a great one on there called 39, and I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She's 39 and she's feeling fine. Or I'm feeling. It sounds just like Van Morrison, and he even does the Van Morrison like and it's like the best thing. It's like perfect. Yes. So, Debbie, if you will, how you want to?
How did Debbie become Debbie? Like, where? How did you decide to do music?
My dad was a super successful singer-songwriter. He wrote "Put a Little Love in Your Heart." It was a huge hit, covered by everybody from like Dolly Parton to the Circle Jerks. I mean, that's a span.
Fuck yeah! And you also, as we were talking about it in the intro, you have a badass cover of it. Derek was talking about.
Yeah. That was actually written. My favorite. I love telling this story. I wanted to do something different with it, and Derek was like, I got this riff in my pocket. So he pulled the riff, and I was like, hey, wait. So I just completely kind of deconstructed Put a Little Love in Your Heart, because it's always been done either punk or kind of straightforward sappy pop, which isn't kind of my thing, pop, poppy pop. So I wanted to just funk and mess it up so that it wasn't nice anymore. So we're still saying "Put a Little Love in Your Heart," but in sort of a nasty way.
Oh man,
yeah,
absolutely.
Man.
Yeah, it really works with those lyrics.
I started singing because my dad made me, basically. Like he was a very opinionated guy. And so I'd be walking around the house like, and I'd, get dragged over to the piano, and you're flat. They're like, but I'm 3.
Damn. Shit. So you
it didn't matter. It was like, I know you're 3. You're flat.
Yeah, you had like Mozart's dad as a dad, I guess. He was very learn the music.
Yeah, and not my real mother, but the woman that raised me, my faux mother, I like to say, was a concert pianist. So it was sort of like, not that I am anywhere near any of that kind of piano playing, but certainly a good ear. So I didn't really have a choice. I tried to resist it. I wanted to be a ballet dancer because we all want to not be our parents for some weird reason. I shall not do music like him.
Yeah.
I tried, and I took ballet class, and I took French because I was going to be a ballerina, And I picked up my first guitar at like 13, and it was over.
Damn.
That's all.
That's badass.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So that's what happened. And then I left home when I was a little after 16, and started hanging out in rock clubs and pretending I was 21 and got a fake ID. And I was one of those leather jacket on Sunset Boulevard with my band and our matching leather jackets. That was my life.
How did you become you? Like you grew up in Canada, right? Like why did you start playing guitar, and how did this happen?
Well, how did I become me? That's a good question. There's a lot of angles that can take it on that.
Yeah.
Most kids, I think, start playing because they see something.
Yeah.
They see a concert, they see a YouTube video, they hear a sound, and they go, "What is that? That's pretty awesome. What's going on here?"
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how relevant that is today because so much of technology and video games have kind of skewed it a little bit. Like for your generation and my generation, people played instruments. We did that. Of course, the video game culture was still there. But I had none of that. There was nothing to do with me. Nothing. It was my dad who said, "You will play the damn guitar, and that's it. And you're going to sit there an hour a day, and that's it." And there was no other way about it. So I just had to play classical guitar in the beginning. I don't know why he was so strict with me playing it. He just wanted me to play. So I started at around 5.5 or 6, and I kind of liked it. It was, I don't know, I didn't know anything else. So in the house growing up, if you had older brothers and sisters, I'm not sure who was older or younger there.
Oh, that's a good compliment to him.
Yeah, that's good. I'm the young one.
No, he's older than me.
Well, say how much older approximately?
6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Okay. So see that you got to hear your brother's music selection.
Yeah.
Because he would kind of break the way of what's cool and what's not. Don't listen to this shit. Listen to this or whatever,
Right.
So I didn't have that. I was the eldest. And I didn't know much, so I was only going off of what my dad had. And so my dad had just classical guitar music. So that's all I knew. That's all I knew music was. I didn't know anything else. Nothing.
Wow.
So I think I was 11 or 12, and I started hanging out with a couple friends, and one of them had the greatest hits of Black Sabbath. And I remember the cover was like guys on horses stabbing each other, and there's blood and decapitation. Where's the classical guitar, Dad? Like, I don't know, it's not in there. So I remember hearing War Pigs. That was the first thing that was like a hammer to my skull. I just went,
damn,
and just cracked it open. I'm like, what is all this sound?
Yeah.
And a week later, I had my dad go, and we went to find an electric guitar somewhere. We couldn't go to a nice music shop like the Guitar Center. The want ads, we got some piece of crap, $125 Strat copy. And anyway, it was mine. And I started off that way. So Black Sabbath kind of started the whole routine of the heaviness. But still, I love the classical guitar all the way through. So I think from that, I just really started to kind of gravitate to really liking it and practicing an insane amount. I don't know why. I enjoyed it. It was just fun. It was fun. There was no one had to tell me to do it. It was just, I like doing this. It makes me feel good. And then playing in bands by I was 14, playing in the clubs in Canada. It's like you're allowed to be 19. So they would the band would sneak me in the back door with a loading gear. And I'd be playing at 14. And I just really, and it was music. My parents kept putting me in music competitions. So it was kind of just do this. So I guess that was the path that kind of just forced it. I didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
I would say I didn't have a choice. And it's so weird when I tell people that. They go, some students go, I wish my parents were like that. No one did that for me. Right. No one pushed me, blah, blah, blah. They didn't care, this and that. So everybody's got a different story, I guess, Like you hear Satriani, he's like, oh, I heard first Hendrix when the day he died, and I knew I wanted to play guitar, or things like this. Everybody's got a different story. So I guess that was the story that started me off, that ignited the flame that kind of made me continue on from there.
Damn, that's awesome. Yeah, because our story is different. Like, remember what would be like your first break as a musician? Because it seems like you've been playing forever, but it must have been something.
Yeah, I've been playing for a while. I mean, I was playing the club scene in New York a bunch, and then I hooked up with this band. They were kind of like a psychedelic grungy band, and this was like in the late 90s, like, so, a while ago.
Right.
And then they were friends with John Popper from Blues Traveler.
Yeah.
So Popper wanted to do a solo record, and so he hired like almost the whole band that I was in, and that was kind of the first sort of name, thing that I did.
Right.
And then I just kind of started doing other stuff from there, and also and also I'm friends with the Spin Doctors guys, and then
nice.
So I was in a band with the singer around the same time, and the drummer. So I kind of started there with those, those original jam band dudes. Well, they're not original, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's kind of like the thing that happens. Like everyone's like, yeah, it's kind of like someone you know, and then that's.
Ask any musician who's achieved success, and I've got all these. Elton John, one of the greatest songwriters ever, along with his Bernie Taupin, his lyricist. Mm-hmm. I've got in my iTunes. He used to just play on those fake records that sounded like the real artist, so they could sell at a discount. I've got Elton John playing all other people's songs before he was ever known. Before I don't think he was even called Elton John then. But he would play the fake records that made you think it was the real band, and you bought it from the TV advertisement. Then you got it and find out it wasn't the real one. So everybody played a copy band. So for a writer, sit down and play Sgt. Pepper's on a guitar, or any great record by any great band in any genre. Learn a Rush album or an AC/DC album or a Meshuggah record or a Goat Whore record. Even who knows?
Yeah. Damn, that's a good idea. Damn. Because I had this idea, like I'm also in film school now too, so I'm learning filmmaking and screenwriting, and I never thought about like breaking down, like rewriting somebody else's script. Right. But I've noticed a lot of, like we've talked about this before, actually, like on an episode coming up, that a lot of legends, they start off with covers, even like the breakthrough, like Van Halen, Jimi Hendrix, like it kind of shows off how awesome you are. And I would actually love it if Winery Dogs did a spaghetti incident where you guys just did all your favorite tunes. It would be so awesome.
I'd love to. I would absolutely love to. Yeah, Mike is quite a cover tune aficionado, and myself too. Generally, if I have a guitar and a couple glasses of wine, a couple of around, one time I did, we went for about 6 hours. We went in for an early dinner after a clinic I did, and a girl came in and she was at the guitar clinic that I just said. So you got a guitar with you? She goes, in the car. I bring it in. About 6 in the evening, and it was summertime, so the sun was still out. So we started playing and singing, and there was nobody in the place. Then there was 10 people, 20 people, 40, 60, 80, 100, and everybody came in. I never got to eat that night. I got plenty to drink, but I never got to eat. And we sang Beatles, Beach Boys, Stones, Three Dog Night, Grand Funk Railroad, Supreme. We just went out and everybody singing and playing. It was to know a lot of songs like that helps your playing, helps your song sense, helps your ability to jam. When somebody gets up on stage, you've already been through almost every song or playing situation ever. Plus, now you got songs you can jam. Some younger players say, "Well, let's jam. What do you want to jam on? What songs do you know?" I don't know any songs. What can we do here?
Yeah.
So it's good to know a lot of songs.
Yeah. A lot of people, they just know like instructional videos. I got that one lick from Paul Gilbert, and I'll play that like for an hour.
Yeah.
And it's good, it's good to expand in all directions, but songwriting will never let you down. Once you start writing songs and you get good at songwriting, you write your own ticket. That's your thing. You will get royalty checks if you're lucky enough to get recorded. Your songwriting is the to a lot of people, that's their whole retirement fund, is those checks coming in from writing a song. We still get checks from Mr. Big for all the stuff we did. So we and all the catalog of songs I've done over the years. Every 6-8 months a check will come in the mail, and we're still getting paid for it. Stuff's still getting played all over the world. So songwriting is super essential.
Yeah.
Ultra essential. And you can, like any craft, you can improve. You can improve on it. And if I do a record, sometimes there are like 40 songs and throw away 20, end up recording 18, throwing 6 of those away, and there's my 12 for the record. You know what I mean? So just you really, if you have an abundance of material, you can always pick the best from it. And there's great courses and books on songwriting too. So there's all kinds of research you can do.
Damn, awesome. Yeah. And just saying, if you release those other 28 songs, it still beat most of the stuff on the radio.
Yeah, seriously.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then I woke up.
Okay, number crazy 4. Story from the road.
I think my favorite one is, and I actually just heard John Petrucci from Dream Theater retell this one, and I was like, oh, that's it, because I tell this one quite often.
Damn.
In 2007, we did a G3 with Paul and John Petrucci and Satriani.
That's badass.
And it was awesome. It was a great tour, and we were in, I think, Philadelphia, and we were playing some old theater, and our room, it was the like backstage, or where the dressing rooms were, where they were kind of laid out in an interesting way, but John's was basically at an angle from ours, and so I could just look right into John's, right? And John's warming up and everything, and I'm on my pad, and for some reason I just start, I think I was talking to Emmy, which is Paul's wife, talking to Emmy, and then we just hear this massive commotion, right? And because Satriani's on stage, and those guys are getting ready to go down to the final G3 jam, but I'm just dorking around. But I hear this massive commotion, and we're like, what the heck is going on? And we run over to John's room, and some maniac drunk fan was climbing through the rafters of this old theater and managed to get backstage, somehow from like the lobby or something like that, crawled all the way and basically fell down through the ceiling panels in John's dressing room. And John's a big guy. I mean, even back then, John was the big Viking, right?
Yeah.
And John just kind of stands and he's like, what's going on, right? Yeah. It's just, and this guy was so hammered, he was just plastered, had no idea where he was or what he was doing. But we're like, wow, that's now we have to put security in the rafters.
Yeah.
You never know what happened. So that was a fun festive night, I remember.
Oh,
but it was interesting because I just saw John on something on YouTube, and he was talking about it. I was like, I totally remember that. That was a fun night.
Yeah, because that's funny. Insane. But maybe John was like, yeah, I made him appear with my music. I'm just tried. And now he's been trying ever since. That's what I pictured. Like, he's been every single day getting better. Like, I'm gonna do it again.
I'm gonna do it one more time. Yeah.
Because he
John is mighty
forever. Yeah.
John is mighty. Yeah.
He's a mighty guy, so I wouldn't put it past him. His abilities have no bounds.
Yeah, because he's even getting bigger and bigger, like more like Thor. Like
he's a beast now. Yeah. Was it last year? I think they were here in LA.
Yeah.
I think it was last year. And
was that the Wiltern?
The Wiltern, yeah.
I was there. Yeah. I was there. I got to see them. Yeah.
That was those guys killed it. They were so good.
Nice.
And but yeah, John, man, he's just like a freaking
superhero. Wasn't Angini no, who's on drums?
Mike Mangini.
Mike Mangini. Oh God, that was nuts. He's like the cymbals are like all the way up there. It's like drumming up. That's nuts.
Mangini, legend. Yeah. Total legend. Love that guy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now this is
take it this far to become, an incredible producer.
Well, thank you. Let me know where I'm sending the check.
To the unemployment office.
First of all, nobody in my family is a musician. I mean, not my family here, my wife, not everybody, but my family of origin in Italy, no one is a musician. I would say that probably there were a lot of artists in my family, meaning people originally. My father was like a wizard with mechanics, with cars, and all of that. And I consider that to be like an artistic talent because you really need to be into it. But it was nothing that will kind of like be like music or anything like that. I remember that I always liked to draw. I always been close to art. I always loved museums and history. Always been my favorite subject at school. History and history of the arts and geography. Those were always my humanitarian subjects. So it was always that attention. Music. I mean, we're going back to what I was telling you about England earlier. When I was around 10 years old, my biological mother passed away, and I went to live with my aunt because my father had this business he was starting to do and could not really keep an eye on me the whole day and stuff. But we were very close with my aunt, and ended up living outside Milan, not too far right now, for the 3 years of junior high. I was really close to my friends from the elementary school, but obviously I had to separate, right? After junior high, I decided to go back with my dad, and I think I was a little bit older, so I could function. And my friends from elementary school, they all picked up an instrument. They were all playing. Majority they were playing guitars, drums and stuff. Me, I was not playing anything. My uncle, my aunt's husband, he was actually an incredible jazz piano player. I mean, he wasn't doing it professionally. He was actually the manager of a post office, which in Italy is a big deal. It's not like, it's a different thing. It's a career on his own, right? But he always played when he was young. It's just a very cool player. And he always played that kind of jazz music that is the jazz that I like stuff from the 20s and the 30s. Some of the music that you hear in those old mafia movies from, De Niro and stuff like that, or even in The Godfather, there's a lot of people playing those things. It's a particular type of repertoire of American music, but it belongs to that time. It's a very pleasant sound to my ear. I guess it's a flashback. But anyway,
maybe some like ragtime stuff too, or
stuff, but not too dancing. It's like it's more. I need to go through it. I will give you some names because it's just some of that stuff it's good. I mean, obviously, then going into Coltrane and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But they wanted me to learn how to play piano, and I wanted to learn how to play guitar. And I, obviously, not knowing anything about music, my uncle was like, "Look, listen, music it's music for everything. Just learn how to play piano. Then you can focus on your instrument. When you're that age, now I want to play guitar. I want to play guitar. I want to play guitar or nothing. So there's nothing. I mean, I regret that.
I know.
I wish I could have, because I would be way more ahead of the game. But nothing. I came back to Italy and I went back to Milan and hooking up obviously with my friends from elementary school. I kind of like started to hang with them, and some of them they already had like a band and stuff. And obviously we were very close. So I was part of the band, even though I wasn't really. I mean, I would just get like this guitar. You barely play, Smoke on the Water riff, that kind of thing.
Right.
And I was just trying to get some lessons and stuff, and it wasn't really working. So my friends was like, "Listen, we already have 3 guitars. I mean, with 2 guitars, you will be the 3rd one, and you suck. You should play bass." And I was like, "What's bass?" "Well, it's like a guitar, but it's got 4 strings." Like, whoa, sounds easier. So I bought an electric guitar with some money that I saved. I sold that. Actually, I went back to the store where I bought it from, and I basically traded back in, and I got a bass, like an imitation precision bass from some Japanese brand, something that was off.
Nice.
And actually, I was intrigued with the instrument, and I started to use it and play around Led Zeppelin's record, and Black Sabbath's record, and Iron Maiden's records. And even though I was like a big fan already back then of black music, I guess it was like I did not have. In other words, for some reason, without nobody telling me anything, it was easy for me to pick up and understand the dynamics of what the bass would do in more like in a hard rock context than into like some of the old school Motown or reggae. It's simple for a mixed thing, because sometimes you have the tom technique, it's not really clear, and the bass for that had a different approach. While in bands like Black Sabbath or something like that, bass was like really, really in your face.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was easy for me to follow it. And then obviously, I always listened to the other music. When I became more familiar with instruments, I started to understand, oh, that's what the bass is doing there. Like that kind of vibe. So that's, I guess, probably why I got close to that. Well, within a year or so, I guess I made some improvement, and I was starting playing with a bunch of different bands, right? Mm-hmm. One of these bands is the one with these friends that met me in London when I was there studying. And we ended up in going to see a concert, which was Castle Donington. Castle Donington could be the equivalent of today's Hellfest or something like that. 120,000. Sorry, there's flags. And
we have them too.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. The end of this is, I guess, the cold is starting, so they all come inside. And that night was actually insane because there was a bunch of. I witnessed history. Ronnie James Dio played the first show with his band Dio, with Vivian Campbell, and all this stuff, and that was like mind blowing. It was just insane. Then so Meatloaf, a bunch of other British and American bands, and funny enough, ZZ Top on their biggest European show, and that's that was actually an argument that with Billy, we talked about it. The closing band was Whitesnake, but not the Whitesnake that everybody knows in America from 1987, the big hair and all of that. But Whitesnake, they were just fresh out when Coverdale and John Lord were just fresh out of Deep Purple. So it was more like a rock blues, a lot of soul too, but kind of like in the British way, with a little bit of a Deep Purple touch. The show was fantastic, and in England they were very feisty, I would say, fans and stuff, doing shows and stuff. So they would throw everything. It was just like a mess. But when they started playing, and they ended up playing a cover of Bobby Blue, "Ain't No Love in the Heart of the City," the whole thing just completely changed, and it was like almost like a magical experience. And when I just living that, I was like, wow, I love this. It's just, I want to do this. This is just great. So it made that, and after 4 months, I saw the only show the Queen has ever done in Italy, in Milan. And that's another thing that just completely changed my life. With Freddie Mercury, obviously. Yeah. And it was, and after I saw those two things were the one that kind of like put me on the path to do this, to do music. Obviously, all the music before, Bob Marley and all of that, but those shows were like, I guess because I was already playing, I was kind of like already understanding what an instrument cannot do what I could do with it, all the other things that I needed to learn to get better and all of that, and just get dropped into this kind of environment, phenomenon. And I think that kind of like really planted the seeds for all this. Then obviously I had bands, throughout like everybody else does. We ended up in signing.
Shot out of his nose, and it was pretty bad.
Oh God, Jesus! Oh man!
I got one more story though for you, man. My best one ever. We won a contest when I was like, I don't know, 16, 17, whatever, and in Chicago, and we won a little contest. It was like a punk band, and so we wanted to go do a little tour. You ever heard of Gigi Allen?
Yes.
Oh fuck yeah!
Hell yeah!
Yeah, we got to open up for that, but I didn't know who he was or whatever. You know what I mean? But my mom had to sign the things to give me because you were too young to go, and so we went out. And then the first show was in like Memphis, and I didn't know what was going on. We played our little set, and it was great. We packed it. We pulling our stuff off the stage, and then all of a sudden he comes out. So the drummer comes out and is playing this thing, right? He's playing some beat. There's a chair next to the drum riser, and Gigi Allen comes out and stands on the chair with nothing but a thong on. And he pulls his dick out, and he starts peeing on the drum. The drummer's like wiping it in his face while playing with one hand, and it never stops. Then I was like, oh God. So I was like, then he gets out. He looks at us. I swear to God, he looks at us. He comes off the stage. All the crowd of us kids, like 500 kids out there. And he takes the microphone, holds it up to us, and he looks up and he just rams it up his ass, right? He turns it around. He turns around, and you can only see all the entire mic was up there. Only the cord was sticking out his ass, right? And everybody goes, uh-oh. And I didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. I don't know what he ate that day, but he pulled the microphone out. He shit all over the fucking stage, and he grabbed the shit and started throwing at us, and the show was over, of course. He got paid. It was fucked up, dude, because everything was covered in plastic. But my mom, of course, found out about that, and I had to come home. She didn't know what that was going on. I was gonna go black in the audience for some bullshit like that, so she made me come home. So I lost that one, but that was a great experience.
I mean, I think your mom is right. Like, there's, yeah, Gigi Allen. I think the last thing people saw of him was like he was naked doing somersaults in in the middle of the street. That was like the last thing people ever saw of him.
Yeah, and then he died.
Yeah, he's a fucking psycho, that guy.
Yeah, it was awesome though, man, to see it in person. You know what I mean? But the smell was the one thing that hit you. Like I didn't see it in my life when he pulled it out, man. It's like it was so disgusting. And he just started grabbing it, just slinging it at the whole crowd, and the show was over. That was it. They didn't play one fucking song. He got kicked out. But he got paid.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's a miracle you kept on playing drums. Like, it's like, okay, this my first tour, right? Fuck it, I'm gonna do it more. And who gave you? You said you won a competition? Like, what competition is this?
It was just to open up for the band. Yeah, it was an open. We won, so it was great, man. It was cool, man.
Yeah.
We didn't know it was punk shit, so it was awesome, man. Yeah. That was a bad experience and a great experience at the same time.
Yeah, no. That's like, I don't know anybody else I can talk about like that. There's like the mentors, but they're not as crazy. And then fucking like Iggy is just, he puts peanut butter, not sit all over himself. It's like a different kind of thing. Yeah. Gigi Allen.
Shit.
He was a scary, fucked up dude, man. That was some crazy shit, man.
So how did you decide to do this band? Like, you said you played in other bands. Did you sing in every band, or did you play guitar? Or
I never sang, actually. I was just in bands where I had unreliable lead singers who decided to not show up to gigs or turn up to gigs and be like, yeah, I went out last night and got hammered and my voice is gone. And so there was just like a run of shows where I just ended up singing because the lead singers were just unreliable. Wow. And then I finally just got sick of it. And I was like, well, I might as well just bloody sing rather than getting these other guys in. You think they're Freddie Mercury, but they just look like somebody who's completely off their face and they don't know what they're doing. And so I didn't want to do it. I found it really weird at first, actually singing, because in my head, I wanted to be Jimmy Page. Right. And the film Almost Famous, where they talk about, I'm the lead singer and you're the guitarist with Mystique. I wanted to be the guitarist with Mystique. It was in the background. And then ended up being the lead singer. And for a while, I found it really hard having to be a front man and trying to talk to the audience. And, Wes always ribs me about, I have about 5 jokes that I tell. And I do at points find it a bit strange. And I'll be honest, like the most comfortable I feel on stage is when it gets to, we do a song in the middle of the set that's like this 20-minute jam song where I'm just playing guitar and we have, I don't know, like a drum solo in it and that sort of. That's probably my most comfortable, where I can actually let other people have the limelight. But that's kind of how it came to fruition. And the guys that I'm in a band with now, Lazarus Michaelidis, who's Greek, and my drummer Felipe Amorim, he's from Brazil. They're really cool guys, and I think that's what I needed really, was 2 guys that were as driven as me. So I'd been through a lot of bands with like great guys, but people who couldn't commit to it on a sort of full-time basis. So finding those 2 was important.
Right.
And they put up with all my shit, basically. That's what you need, isn't it?
How is all the music, 99% of the music that we listen to, it's all just 12 notes. Amazing.
Wow, that's insane.
Number 4.
Number 4.
What is your favorite lick or technique that has helped your playing?
Oh, I mean, that's easy. Oh, well, I mean, there's many, obviously, but the Dr. John one that goes like a bit higher.
Ooh,
yeah. That was sort of that's the like sort of quintessential, the sort of most. It's not basic because it's quite hard to do, but the like, what's the word? Quintessential, essential sort of New Orleans lick that you sort of have to learn, once I'd sort of learned that and got that under my fingers. It's so nice to play, you know, and it takes you really nicely to the 4 chord. And there's another one which is Mead Lux Lewis phrase, which goes from the 4 back to the 1, and it's really cool because on the 4 chord he's playing a 7, but then he glances over the major 7, which is sort of totally not allowed.
Yeah.
But for example, so we're in C, he goes. So that phrase, we're playing in C, but this chord is F7. He goes. He's going from the 7 to the major 7, so he's playing an E natural. But it sounds so cool. It doesn't sound like you're playing a major 7. It just sounds. So that's another one. That's Mead Lux Lewis. I learned that from him. Wow. His sort of boogie woogie. He's Mead Lux Lewis is Chicago, which is really sort of different boogie woogie to the New Orleans boogie woogie. Oh. But so those boogie woogie licks, I love. And there's one other really shedding Oscar Peterson, you know, like with my time here. So my favorite like of his phrases, which is total. So that phrase, which is the end of Take the A Train, I particularly love, which is it's just a blues ending, but when I first learned that phrase, I like that's my favourite. I love that one, you know, and that is the actual end of Take the A Train. You know, it's how everyone kind of ends it. Ba 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 da bum. Hey. You know, yeah.
Damn, that's fucking awesome! I guess. Oh man,
there's so many licks. You know, there's so many licks. But those ones particularly I like. You know.
Yeah, those. Yeah. Like licks are
Oh,
important.
there's one more. Let me just do you one more, which is the Randy Newman one, which he does all over. This is how it's in the song like Political Science. No one likes us, don't know why. So it's this movement here. We may not be perfect.
Oh,
heaven knows we try. But so the left hand is walking up from the tonic. So I'm in G here. So I'm going G, A, B flat, B, and then the right hand is going B, C, D flat, D. So like 3, 4, sharp 4, 5. So we get, and then at the end he does. You know, so it's that movement there. You know, it's sort of a blues thing, but
man.
Yeah.
As a guitar player, I would never think to write like that. That's just like, you know, you're just so moving.
It's a really, really sort of pianistic thing. Like that Dr. John phrase, I don't think you would ever play on a guitar. It's just sort of not really a guitar thing, you know.
Until now.
I use that all the time. That Randy Newman one.
Oh, cool.
To go up to the 4, it's a really, really nice way of going up to the 4.
Mm-hmm. Damn. Badass lick. Fuck yeah.
Now, I mean, I have a big computer set up over here, but now I do most of my sessions remotely, which means people just email me songs and I record drums and I send them back. The communication is very small now. I try to pull ideas out of people in emails. I'm like, what do you think of the song? Like, or I ask them questions like, do you have a favorite drum sound? Or what's your favorite band right now? Or something, so I can get a launching point, because I can do anything. You know, I could do like super 80s, super grunge, super like Steely Dan. I could go anywhere with like the drum sounds or the drum parts. So it helps if I can kind of figure out what the other party is into. Yeah. Like if they super big, brash, ringy sounds, or they want like the super dead, dry thing. I don't know. So I got an email today from Harry Farrell from Jane's Addiction. So I'm gonna tomorrow record a song for him, and the song he sent me is kind of electro dancey, you know. So I'm like, okay, so it's gonna be that thing. So I wrote him back saying, got the song, sounds great. He's like, yeah, and don't be afraid to go full Phil Spector wall of sound on this. I'm like, oh. because I was going to go like, pure, like, Euro dance on this thing. But he's, get organic and go retro on this thing. I'm like, all right, now I got to rethink this, but that's the fun thing about collaboration is someone has these ideas or shouts out these colors or paradigms or qualities. And you're like, let me try to mix that with what I was hearing. And now I am the exact opposite of how I was when I was, 21. Now I'm all about the collaboration because I think that's the best way for me not to repeat myself over and over again.
Yeah.
If you ask me just to play the drums, I'll probably do something similar over and over and over again. But if I work with different people and I get different ideas and sources, then it's going to cause me to evolve and search for different things. Right?
Yeah,
Damn,
that's
that's
cool.
freaking awesome. That's so that's just good. I love that. This is my favorite question to ask. What are your tips for songwriting?
Oh gosh. Well, I think the biggest thing that I've learned, which I've actually not been in the songwriting game for a minute because I've just been practicing and doing sessions and stuff, but like I kind of mentioned earlier, is taking time away is just as important as taking time to write.
Right.
So, which is like, of course, like if you're in the zone, like don't just like take yourself away. But I've definitely been in moments where it's like, I so badly want to write something great. And I sit down and I just like, I get hard on myself and I'm like, why can't you come up with something? And then I force myself to try and think harder. And it's like, that's just the worst thing to do, I think, when you're trying to come up with something, because A, it's forced, B, then you're just frustrated and nothing good's going to come when you're frustrated. So I think for me, definitely would be like, taking time away can be just as beneficial to the writing process as sitting down and actually writing, I think.
Yeah. Well put. Yeah, I agree.
Cool.
Awesome. That's it. I have nothing else to say to that. I usually have a comment, but that's awesome. That's
You left us speechless.
Wait, just out of curiosity, like what's what would your quick tip be for that?
Solitude. Being completely alone is...
That's true too.
Yeah, if you're in a room...
Okay, I should say that too. Like coming back full circle, which it's not really, you're not with somebody, but especially like even with practicing, like my phone will be such a distraction. Like just having my phone.
Yeah. See, you're not even... Yeah, not really alone.
You're not there.
Exactly.
I like having my dog with me, but that's kind of different. But yeah, if I'm like behind a closed door, I could talk out loud. I get really weird when I write. So I like pace the room. I talk out loud. I discuss what I want to say. I say it out loud and I disagree with myself. No, that's wrong. You shouldn't say that. And I'm like really openly weird. And the more
cool,
alone
though.
I am, the more... But now I've been writing with a lot more writers and stuff. And I still try to do that in front of them. So I'm like, and they're just like, what the fuck is wrong with you? So, and then it's been very successful. So yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, what kind of meth are you on?
Yeah. That's my method.
Yeah,
I use very good methods.
That's cool though. Yeah, that's cool, because being alone too, that's so true, because you can truly like just be in your own thoughts and without any distractions. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like in space. You're like, it's just, the possibilities are endless. It's like you're like looking into space because no one's like really, I don't know, when you're alone, I envision space too. I'm like looking at things. I'm like, ooh,
That's
look,
cool.
planets. Like I could just do this color or this palette for this or whatever, it's like.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay,
yeah.
good to know.
Good to know. All right.
Let the kid out kind of thing.
Let the kid out. Let the kid play.
Yeah.
Yep.
I always say that. Just make sure that you let the kid out, so then the adult in you will try to fix it. The kid will just let it happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. I like that. That's so true.
And
Three, I've been wanting to ask you this actually for a while, Scott. What are your tips for songwriting?
Songwriting.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not known for my songwriting, although I do write songs. And actually, if you know any good tips, probably send them my way, because I suffer through songwriting. I suffer through it. Like writing lyrics is just slow and painful, and rewrites and rewrites and rewrites.
Yeah.
And and then I'll turn on the radio and I'll hear something. I'll go, oh my God, does my stuff suck as bad as that sucks?
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
And then I'll go back and rewrite it again. But I think honest songwriting is a good place to start. a lot of people will write things for the reason of selling it. Oh, this is not commercially accessible. They'll find a way to say it without sounding like such a douchebag. But you have to write honestly, and different arrangements. Do something different. Don't do the same thing everybody else does. Don't use the same cliches everybody's used. I mean, jeez, I hear people rhyming shit that's been done 1,000 times. It's like it was almost supposed to be written that way. It's like original thought.
Yeah.
And that's why I suffer over it, And I've never released anything because it's all in there, and it's like, I don't know, is it any good?
It's probably amazing.
Yeah, maybe it's all right.
Please Dropbox it.
I played it for somebody once, and they liked it. So.
Yeah.
That's all you need. All you need is one.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm the guy who needs the advice.
No, that was awesome already. I mean, honesty and just, oh my God, originality, because there is none of that right now.
Well, formula writing it's not up my alley.
Right.
There's these writing circles of songwriters, and they get together and they're like, what are the kids gonna buy?
Yeah. Seriously.
And it's just fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Candy.
Yeah, there's a thing I like to say, like you have to, if you're honest with yourself and you do create something that you really like, it doesn't matter if the people like it or what they get from it. Because in the end, we're just dogs in the sand, and we're just running around. And sometimes the dog in the sand will like make something beautiful, and the person that sees it be like, "Oh, that's a heart, or it's a smile, or something." But we're just dogs. Just let us write. We just do our work, and then let them.
I've just become a fan.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
that's
cool.
So awesome. Yeah, it's we all want to. We all want to be successful. We all want to make money.
Yeah.
What do you have to do that?
Yeah.
And if you take a great song and give it to somebody who is not appealing to look at, that song probably won't do shit because nobody will get behind it. But if you take an okay song and give it to somebody who's beautiful, you're probably going to do all right with it because... And I say this all the time, people listen with their eyes.
Yeah.
They're not listening with their ears, they're listening with their eyes.
Oh.
So the person with the cool necklaces and the hairstyle and all that, they get the hit song.
Yeah.
Derek, we have to go buy necklaces now.
Yeah, I know. I'm like lagging.
I know. I gotta I'll send you a link.
It's Amazon. This necklace. Yeah. That's so true. Music is fashion.
We call them success necklaces.
Successes.
That one, man.
Woo!
Yeah.
Necklace.
Yeah, we'll edit it. It'll come out perfect.
That's amazing.
Oh, that was badass.
Man, another best of. It's the best.
Yeah, I don't know which best of is the best.
I don't know.
Hopefully we can find out one day. But
yep.
Please, guys, if you guys like all the content, follow us, like us, and subscribe. And also, you can watch the full episodes if you guys go to our channel.
Yep, everything's there. And follow their channels, too, because they're amazing artists.
Yeah, super badass artists. And this is amazing. So we'll see you next week for something awesome. Bye.